Hello everyone, welcome to the winter quarterly update. This is the most difficult quarter to predict normally because a lot of people stop work halfway through December and don't come back to halfway through January and then end up going skiing in February. So it's very difficult to get going in the new year. It really is, especially if the weather is not good. Never kind for property, the weather isn't in January, February. And it's not kind on estate agents or property developers either. There's a bit of good news on the horizon. The economy looks like it's better than people predicted. Interest rates don't look like they're going to go up. In fact, probably most people think by the summer they will start to come down. Inflation is also down as well. So from the last quarter, there is some good news. There's talk about 4% fixed rate mortgages, of course, but remember these are only really for people who have got a decent deposit. Otherwise you'll still be paying more at the moment. But it's interesting that the markets obviously think interest rates are on the way down. The one thing that can change a lot of our thinking for this year is the general election. There's talk among some of the political correspondents that this now could be May, early May, to coincide with the local May elections. If this is a case, we will know in March. So it will really affect the following quarter. So if you think this quarter is going to be tough, which I personally do in terms of selling property, finding deals and so on, and you hope that the next quarter will be better, which it normally traditionally is, April onwards, it may not be if the election is called, because during a general election, very little happens. People are very negative, they're very cautious, and it slows everything down. Now, if you think like I do, and how I've said before, that it's going to be late November, early December, then clearly that isn't going to be the case. Although you do have the local May elections still, which will slow things down in terms of planning, because the councillors are not voting on anything. They're not allowed to vote because of the local elections that will be coming up in May. So a month before that and a month after May, nothing happens, remember that, in terms of local authorities. So where are we with terms of residential sales in the next 3 months? I think they're going to be slow for January, as they always are. They'll pick up a little bit in February and March maybe. But also another thing we have to remember is the government will start to throw freebies about if there is going to be, or when there's going to be election this year. So the budget is going to be brought forward to March. They're talking about 95% mortgage being guaranteed for first-time buyers. They're talking about new 30-year fixed rate mortgages, which is something that should have come in years ago in my view. And in America, they have 30-year fixed rate mortgages, but they are 7.5%. So we don't want that happening at that rate at least. They're also talking about bringing back the Help to Buy scheme, which is very expensive for the government, but the government know it's a winner for first-time buyers. They need to convince people between the age of 25 and 40 to vote Tory. And at the moment, most of them don't seem to want to. Turning now to the property developers amongst us and the house builders. Again, first 3 months going to be tough without question. If you are brave enough and ambitious enough to buy a property that has been developed by a developer or a new house builder, then you will, I think, get some decent discount at the moment, because they will want to keep their turnover up. Last year their turnover was down 35%. This year I can see it being down 20% from where it was 2 years ago. That still gives opportunities to a lot of you to get in and buy a new home. So like I've said, a very tricky quarter ahead. Remember, there's over 2.4 million people coming off fixed rate mortgages this year, more than last year. Now, okay, interest rates are a bit more competitive, but it's still going to hurt people when maybe they're only paying 2% now and they end up paying 5% for their mortgage. And also, don't forget the property investors who are coming off fixed rate mortgages on their buy-to-let properties. It's going to be tough for a lot of those as well. Opportunities will be there throughout the whole year. Remember, some banks don't start foreclosing on people until they know the market's looking a bit brighter, because they know then they can get their money back. Is that this year? For me, I'm not so sure. I think we're in for another tough year. I don't think it'll be quite as tough as last year, but I think it will be tough. And of course, everything depends when the general election is. There's one ray of light at the end of January, and that is the Property Elevator Conference at Heathrow. If you'd like to join us for the day, please go to propertyelevator.tv, book your ticket. I look forward to seeing you then.